Here's a little-known inspirational story of Ratan Tata, who launched India's first off-road SUV with the Sierra in 1991. But his real triumph was leading the hatchback revolution in India with the Indica, which in turn led to the acquisition of iconic brands like the Jaguar and Land Rover from global auto titan Ford. So how did Ratan Tata do it? Now, it's one of the most significant failure-turned-success moments in the entire business world. We have to go back to the year 1998 when Tata Motors was known as Tata Engineering and Locomotive Company. Tata had just launched India's first indigenously designed and manufactured diesel-powered hatchback Indica, which was boldly intended to take on the Japanese and American markets. Ratan Tata, during the launch of the car, said that it held a very special place in his heart, saying, quote, "This is the first passenger car designed and developed entirely in India. We had developed a car that is truly Indian in its conception," unquote. However, in a huge bummer for Tata, the car failed to take off as it was plagued with several technical issues, leading to massive losses for the company. The slump in sales even prompted Tata Motors to think of selling its fledgling car business within a year of its debut. Dejected, Tata then visited Ford Motors for a deal, looking to offer his factory in 1999. Ratan Tata traveled to Detroit in America to meet the Ford chairperson, Bill Ford, in person. The meeting, which lasted nearly 3 hours, did not go as planned. Praveen Kadle, an ex-team member, recalled the ordeal of how Tata was insulted by a Ford group, saying, quote, "They told us, 'You do not know anything about passenger cars. Why did you start the business at all? We are doing you a favor by buying your car division,' unquote." After the unpleasant meeting, Ratan Tata withdrew his offer to Ford and the deal fell through. Embarrassed and discouraged, on the 90-minute flight taking the team back to New York, Tata barely spoke a word. But it's at his lowest point that Tata's trademark never give up attitude shone brightest. Ratan Tata looked at the silver lining and instead took it as a sign to refocus his entire energy on his dream project. He decided not to abandon the Indica nor to sell the car division. Tata instead burned the midnight oil to transform the Indica model and tailor it specially for Indian audiences with renewed focus and determination. He had a very clear goal: to prove his doubters wrong. The rest was a Neil Armstrong moment, a classic example of failure-turned-success story. The tables turned, and after 9 years of hard work, Indica was transformed into one of India's most successful ventures, as domestic sales of the car peaked at 42,000 units, making the car a symbol of Indian manufacturing success. On the other hand, following the Great Recession of 2008, which roiled the US economy, Ford faced an extreme downfall, reaching the verge of bankruptcy. Meanwhile, Ratan Tata had secured high sales for the car by advancing into European and African markets by 2004. While Indica and its newer versions became one of Tata's highest-selling cars, Ford was struggling hard to thrive. Here is when Tata once again stepped in and moved swiftly to make a big-ticket offer to Ford to buy two of the most iconic brands in the Ford portfolio, the Jaguar and the Land Rover. Tata made sure to acknowledge the Indian company was doing Ford Motor a favor, showcasing an element of revenge. However, the deal was done in good faith and business. Days after the deal was announced, Mr. Tata said at the Geneva Motor Show in Switzerland, "There is no reason to tinker with the brands. Our challenge is to make them grow," unquote. The transaction was more than just a business win for Ratan Tata. It was a personal triumph for him. Praveen Kadle, who had traveled with Tata in 1999 to the Ford HQ, recounted the incident in 2015, saying that the $2.3 billion deal was completed in June 2008, with Ford chairman Bill Ford thanking Tata, saying, quote, "You are doing us a big favor by buying the JLR, Jaguar Land Rover," unquote. Looking back at Jaguar's position back then, its business was struggling, but the car was still recognized as the best sports-cum luxury car. However, JLR's retro designs were getting redundant while competing with new efficient diesel engines in the British automotive industry. Land Rover, on the other hand, had clocked record sales in the previous 3 years, including raking a $1 billion business in 2007 and 8. Ratan Tata was convinced his new acquisition would in turn prove to be beneficial in the future. According to Forbes, Tata Motors focused on three-pointed strategy of improving liquidity, cost control, and new products, which all worked out well. Post-acquisition, the Tata Group scripted one of the most fabulous turnarounds in the Indian auto industry, signaling the rise of Indian enterprise and Indian entrepreneurs on the global market and the global stage. On the 14th anniversary of the landmark moment, industrialist Vedant Birla posted on X in June 2022, quote, "The entire episode showed the world that hard work, determination, and resilience can bring to the table. Tata stepped into the global motor industry from there and has been a world player," unquote. Rest in peace, Ratan Tata, sir. You should always be an inspiration for millions of Indians.